hello. This is going to be a bit of a quieter stream because I'm trying to just get things quickly done, but going for a warmer tone set of dice with a bit of a quicker pour time to avoid the quick flashy map in the last ones. The last dice came out pretty cool looking, definitely not fire, but pretty cool. But a lot of them had big raised edges, and that's because we were right on the thickest part of the cast by the time that we managed to finish up. So instead of doing that, this time we're going to pour with a good 10 minutes extra. So I'm going to start doing the colors immediately, and I've already made all the mylar and have the pipettes, and it should all be good. So first of all, I need to pour my colors into the correct amounts, which I don't remember what are, so I'm just going to say probably 70, 30, and 20, something like that. Oh wait, no, there are 4 things, that's not how math works. Yeah, I'll figure it out as I go. That's okay. So pouring this one to probably about 30-ish or something. Actually, to be fair, I can't even see the markings, so I'm just going to pour them until they look even. Pretending I can even see where the measurements are. Can't even see them in context with each other, to be real. I think that's about even. And then... oh, I can see the measurements on the inside. Okay, so it seems like they're all at about 40-ish then. Is that right? You're at about 40, you're at about 40, you're at about 40. I want to give myself a bit more of the base color this time, because last time I kept them all with the solid kind of color. And that wasn't really super what I needed to be doing. That was partially because the colors had all gotten a bit thick, but it still means there was room to have a bit less of that final color there. Okay, so I'm just going to put this away, and then we'll get started. So the main thing we're doing here, when I get my notes up, is that we're going to do brighter colors than last time. Last time it didn't do badly, but the colors were just a little bit too, sorry, I just need to do one thing. There we go. Alright, keep playing. Come on, you can do it. That's probably working. I can't quite tell. Yeah, fuck it, who cares? Don't have time to care too much. But basically this time, I'm gonna be just being a little bit more liberal with the colors. Unlike last time where we did 2 or 3 drops each time, this time we're going for a good 7, a good 6, a good 6, and a good 3. Like, much, much higher numbers, so... this is a red, hopefully, yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Might even go for 7. I'm just trying to figure out what I wrote down. I wrote down 7, so we'll go for 7 red, which I'm saying out loud to make sure when I watch the video back that I remember that that's what I did. And then we'll mix that together, and after we mix it, we'll add some gold glitter I've got on hand, if it looks like it's dark enough. If it doesn't look dark enough, we'll just add more. I know from experience this red does go pretty dark, so I'm assuming this will actually be enough. But it's usually not super easy to tell until you've used a color a few times how it's going to react. Which is why it's good that in the previous set I had such a low amount, because now I know that yes, you can get quite a see-through, almost not even red color if you really want to. Alright, so that's looking good. We're going to chuck a little bit of gold glitter in there. This is just basic ass gold glitter you put in like your mascara or your makeup or whatever else. Try not to put too much in there, but don't really want to underdo it either. That's probably too much. Oh well, it'll be fine. And that's just to give the dice a little bit of extra kind of color in the main base that will hopefully give it a bit of a contrast to the other ones that won't have that glitter inside. Having a nice dark color that has glitter in it kind of gives you a bit of a background that usually lets other colors pop a bit better, and that's what we're going for. There we go. That looks all mixed up and good. So we're going to just keep going at a snail's pace, but a quick snail. A lovely medium speed snail's pace. We're going to go for yellow for the second color, and that's going to be quite a lot of drops because it doesn't have much color to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 8 or 9 there. Alexa, shut up. And then we're going to mix that yellow up. Nothing special to the yellow, just want it to be dark enough that it doesn't blend with the red. Every time I make dice with yellows and reds and oranges, they always mix together, and I'm really trying hard this time to get a set where they stay distinct and different and just don't end up being like this basic ass orange dice that I could have just made without mixing in the first place. That's kind of what we're aiming for. I'm even going to put, just for my reference, buddy, you put 8 drops of yellow in, and you're going to put 4 more in. 2, 3, you put 3 more in, so 8, 9, 10, 11 drops yellow overall for when you watch this back, bud. There we go. Alright, so 11 drops of yellow. We really want that yellow to be quite dark compared to what you would normally have it at, just because it's really hard to go backwards on that, and honestly, I don't think you can have too much yellow anyway. So after yellow, we want a peacock blue, because I want one color that isn't quite the same as the rest. And now that I'm looking at it, I probably have a bit too much in that. So we're going to add that to the yellow, and we're going to make the peacock blue a nice 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I'm going to do 5, actually. I'm going to see if I feel like it needs a 6. The blue isn't exactly weak. And I'd rather the blue be more of a subtle part of the dice. Oh, also, Alexa, set a 20-minute timer.
20 minutes, starting now.
There we are. We want to really not exceed that timer this time. We don't want thick caps this time. The last dice came out really nice and really interesting, but the thick caps ruined a whole bunch of dice. So now we have the orange, which I was going to put 1, 2, 3. Well, you probably can't see it off camera there, but there should be 3 drops of orange in there. And then also, if I can get it open, because I think I've sealed it shut by mistake, I have some Pinata white alcohol ink, which we're also going to put into this same mix in order to make it sink and make it a bit cloud-like. So, oh yeah, you can see here why I don't want the things to be too thick, by the way. I cut myself pretty bad. So 1, 2, and 3, and I think I said I'd do 4 drops, so 4. And then we're going to grab another stick, and we're going to mix that 4th drop with the orange to hopefully make kind of a milky, cloudy orange. You can see here how this is a lot more opaque than the other colors, and that's definitely on purpose. I am going to put that last orange drop that I didn't put in though, so I think that turned out to be 4 drops of orange, let's say. Yeah, let's do 5 drops. We still want it to be quite orange. The white's just there to make it drop down so that I can actually like have it be spread throughout the dice like a cloud. The color there, not as important as the actual technique of it, and I almost spilled orange all down the carpet, so I'm glad that didn't do that. Okay, we're going to speed up a little bit, because I do think I'm going slower than I would like here. And I really do want this to be poured faster than last time. So there's the orange all done, and we're all good and set to go. So, the idea here is we fill everything partway with red, we stick a bit of Mylar in it, and then we start using droppers to put the rest of the colors in. And I guess we need to move that a bit so I can actually reach everything. Alright. If we can help it, we'll also be saving some of this red for the top of the lids, which you can't see, but are all ready to go and be filled with resin to the side. So we're trying to just fill all of these, but a third of the way up. It's a bit hard to get that completely correct, so close enough is good enough in most cases. I'm gonna actually pour the main dice sets first, just in case I start running out. And my frame of reference is I'm just waiting until it covers a particular number that I see. But, you know, if anyone has a more precise method, I would love to hear that, because my method is just guessing and hoping. Guessing and hoping sometimes means I don't have enough resin left for the top, which isn't usually ideal. What's funny is I'm not looking at the camera, but I bet if I was looking at the camera, I'd actually be able to see the dice a bit better right now. I am maybe sitting a little too low to have these molds so far away, but I figured for this run, it would be easier to have everything pre-set out. Luckily the D4s are the final mold and they shouldn't require much resin at all, so that should be good. But yeah, this might look a little on the pinker side on camera maybe, but I assure you this comes out as quite the vibrant red, so these should be quite red based. Which is almost a bit more than I was hoping for, but that's okay. The important thing here is getting everything down before the caps go off. I'm pretty confident in the technique now. This is the third time using the same technique in a row, and it's been working great every time. So you won't be able to see this, but I'm now just pouring resin onto the actual molds I'm going to be using. That just helps avoid bubbles and voids later. If I have time, I'll show it later, but I probably won't. So you're just going to take my word that I'm actually doing that. And generally, you want to pour with your base color, but it's not super important. Like, you can pour with pretty much whatever color you've got on hand. The one thing I do want to avoid a little bit this time, if I can, is using too much of the same color I want to use the clouds for. Because I found that it did change the color of the one side just a bit more than I like. And I prefer to not do too much to ruin that. Right now, I'm just rubbing a paddle pop stick, or a mixer or a stir stick, or whatever you want to call them, whatever sounds fancy, just to make sure they get into all the spots. By the time I get to these dice again, it's going to have all the bubbles that come out by themselves, so it's not really important if I'm introducing bubbles to it, because those will be gone by the time I actually get to them. I have 14 minutes left, which is not as much time as I thought I would have by the end of this, but I've also set my timer a bit fast, so there's every possibility that I'm actually doing fine on time. I'm going to drop a piece of mylar in every dice. It doesn't matter if the mylar is in there good, I just want a piece of mylar in each one. A little bit quicker there, buddy. You're going a little slower. We don't want the same thing as last time. One problem when you try to make like 5 sets at once is it's very hard to balance the cure time with when you want to actually work on stuff. Because the thing is with resin, a lot of the times you want to work on stuff right near the end of the cure time, where you have very little time to do anything left. Like it's about to go solid. And if you go too far into that at the end, when you try to push down the mold top, what'll happen is it'll only push down part way, and the sides of the dice will actually be a bit above where the two-part mold comes together. Meaning you get this weird kind of raised edge, which isn't ideal for doing stuff. Just because I don't remember where I put mylar, I'm just putting little tiny extra bits of mylar in some of these. Hopefully none of those will be a mistake. Generally you don't want to put too much mylar in, just in case it ends up rising to the surface, but that's okay, that's good. Alright, we're going to start doing the colors now. And just like this. Doesn't really matter like where I'm doing this, just that I am doing it, and I'm just going up and down, introducing yellow into each dice, as yellow is going to be like the secondary color, which I hope to see the most of in this dice. You know, aside from the red, obviously. And I'm hoping that it doesn't mix. I have a terrible, terrible curse where I try to make these red and orange dice, and the yellow, the orange, and the red always mix together. And I make other dice with, you know, different colors but the same techniques, and they never mix. But these dice always do. So I'm hoping with this specific technique, maybe that problem is gone now. I'm doing a lot to make sure I'm not actually stirring as I do this. I just want colors in there. I don't want swirls necessarily. I'm not looking for swirls. The biggest swirl will happen at the end when I actually put some cloud stuff in there. I just want the color separation so that these aren't just purely red or purely orange dice. I want these to like kind of look like a fireball slightly in motion by the end of it. And that means having a bit of randomness, like we're introducing with the way we do this, is pretty good for that. Not much need to actually move the thing while you're in the dice itself. Like, a lot of this happens just through the insertion of the pipette. Moving the colors up and down instead of side to side, right? And this will happen a few times, pushing from below to avoid the colors just blending and mixing instead of being separate. And that should, by the end, make a set of dice where the colors are a little bit more distinct than they would be otherwise. Assuming that the red, of course, wasn't just too opaque. Luckily, that's why we have other colors that aren't very opaque, because a lot of these dice won't be that opaque looking red. A lot of these dice will be the more transparent colors in terms of volume. Okay, so that's almost all of the yellow done. Just need to do it here, because I actually just don't remember if I did these dice. So I'm just going to do them again in case I forgot them. Just making sure some of these pipettes are filling up. They don't always fill up as fast as they should. And how much time do I have? Like 10 minutes. I think I'm doing okay on time this time. I think I'll make it. That's good. One of the things about doing this on stream is trying to figure out when to start the stream so that I don't start too late. Usually I'd be able to make a bit more of a judgment call on that. But I do want to stream these so that I can look back at them and figure out which recipes I like, and I can look at exactly what I did. Like, storing all that information on my computer, not the best idea in the world, but if I can store using YouTube and Twitch as my hard drive, that's much better. Alright, let's start introducing some of the blue. And it's just the same technique. Like, this is just the same technique like 5 or 6 times in a row. It's just a matter of getting it done within the right time frame. And some of these I'm going to put more blue in than others, because some of these were less filled by the time I got to them. And we don't really want to be filling it with the cloud at the end. That cloud isn't supposed to be a filler color, the cloud is supposed to be an accent color. So if there's anything you want to fill in, this third color is the time to start thinking about that, because this third color is the last of the colors you really want to be like really fully integrated. And you know, you can always go back and add some more yellow, for instance, after you put the blue in, like this, right? I digress. I am going to put some more yellow in this middle one, for instance. Hoping these still turn out red. These might turn out very yellow, actually. That's okay. I'm okay with them turning out yellow and blue. You know, it's one of the reasons I made them the way I made them. Luckily, I don't name my dice until after I see the way they come out, because dice always have a habit of coming out not always as you expect. Which is fun and cool, but it's also the reason I need to record what I do, because if I like an effect, I would like to do that effect several times in a row. And sometimes I make something I really like, and then I look back at it and I'm like, I have no idea how to do this a second time. The pets are not filling up quite as fast as I'd like, which means I might be closer to the cure time than I think I am. I really do want to get these lids on earlier this time if possible. Like, I can see quite a nice sunset effect happening in here, which I'm kind of ruining by putting the blue in, but that's just the way it is. Just gonna put a bit more of the yellow in some of these, I think. I seem to have more extra yellow left over than I would have thought I would have at this point. Like, if you ever see that you have too much of a color, just, you know, add some more in. Why not? Like, these aren't the kind of dice where you're specifically trying to, like, add blanks or, like, fancy, like, images in, right? So you can kind of go back on what you were doing, where other dice wouldn't be quite as forgiving with that. I am running out of blue, actually, funnily enough. I thought I had enough, but maybe not. That's okay. If we don't have enough blue for all of them, we'll just add yellow on the top and it'll be fine. And this might be the last bit of blue. Alright. Let's just get some blue in these, so there is some. That's okay, though. That means we're actually using all our supplies, right? Alright, we're going to add some of this blue to the top of one of these molds here before it gets thick. Like, even if it does get thick before the end, having put it on here thinly will actually help prevent some of that same build-up I was talking about before. It's still spreading quite thinly, so I think we've still got some time. I've got at least 5 minutes based on my clock, and I think my clock is assuming we have 5 or 10 minutes less than we normally do, so we should be good, but I am going to be rushing this last part, I think. As you can tell, because I've kind of forgotten which dice I'm doing at any point here. I don't think I can do 2 at a time. I think I'm going to screw that up too often. That's okay. That was a good idea at the very least, right? And one of these molds is going to have yellow on the top. That's a color I actually have a bunch left of. Considering I wanted yellow to be one of the main colors, I may have gotten the ratio a bit off. But yeah, again, just spreading, because I don't know if you can see this on camera, probably not. Just spreading some of the resin on the top of the mold. The more resin there is, the easier it is to just deal with later. Like, I'd rather have too much resin and have to pull it out than have not enough. And this time you might see I am doing a bit of a swirl while I push stuff down. And it's because I want this to kind of sink and have a bit of a cloud effect inside. The resins I'm using aren't as transparent as other times I've done this, so I don't know how visible this effect will even be. But the idea is we get a bit of, well, it's going to be an orange, but probably is actually going to be a bit more of a pink cloud on the inside. I'm looking at the colors right now, and I'm pretty happy with where they are, so as long as nothing goes weird with the cast, these should work out well. But you definitely would not want this to be the lid, the dice. You get some weird, funky colors out of that, I think. Ah, my arm! This may not look like a workout, but it is quite the workout, I promise you. Oh, this one's not even full. Oh, that's not good. That's okay. I only have one more mold to do, and then I can start doing the finishing touches, so no need to panic on that. But yeah, usually I'd be a bit more aggressive with what I like to call cloud dice. But I just want a bit of a whisper in there. I don't actually want it to be the main content, unlike a lot of other times I do it. I think the mix of colors is more interesting in this. Like, I would almost forego having the clouds at all, but I just do like having those clouds. The next set of dice I do probably actually won't have them, because I haven't done this technique without a cloud before, and I would really like to see how it would work without one. Alright, we're just gonna pour a little bit of yellow on the top of everything, kind of slowly so it doesn't mix colors together, but I do want to make sure everything's filled up for one, and then I also want to just disperse some of that cloud effect on the top if I can, on dice where I think it's gone a little bit too high. Alright, we are going to have to use a little bit of this on the top of some of this, just to make sure everything's full. Especially this one. That's going to be very unfortunate for that one. Oh. Because we need to make sure these are all filled up to the top, and I'm out of every other color. So anything else we add has to be this cloud color now. Which isn't the worst thing in the world, but, you know, it's a thing to consider. This is why I wanted to have less of the cloud colors, so maybe some of these would be different. I know it looks like some of this will just have weird tops, but this will actually sink over time, so don't expect the clouds to just be a big pink thing at the top there. It should be all good. Because I'm not adding it on the cap, that's really going to help with that as well. Alright, so I'm going to be putting the lids on now. The resin isn't too thick. Never touch resin with your hands. Always use gloves, by the way, boys and girls. And I've cut a couple of holes out the side of my molds this time. Because I found out last time that I was just having a bit of an issue with some of these like bubbles and voids not escaping. And that's usually an issue of kind of pressure. So this time I'm hoping that that will be resolved, because on my old molds that didn't happen at all. But yeah, there we go. Just line it up with the registration marks you made. And chuck everything together. Then push down. Don't worry about the fact that resin's going to leak out, because resin's just going to leak out. You actually want to see... Alexa, shut up. You actually, for the most part, want to see resin leaking out even, because it means that the mold was filled enough to prevent vacuuming and voids a lot of the time. So hopefully that's all together. You can never double check. Never let yourself take the risk or the thing to try to double check, because double checking will always introduce voids into your mold, and they could have been perfectly fine until you tried. Like, always just trust the process. If it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out, but trying to double check will guarantee it won't work out. Hey, you can see here with a bunch of the colors coming out probably, why it doesn't matter too much that a particular resin was on the top, because a lot of that is getting squished out right now. So it'll be completely different to whatever we just saw on camera at the very top. And a lot of that pinky, orangey, whatever color that turned out to be will end up sinking down as well, like I mentioned previously too. Okay, we're almost done. This has actually gone quite well. I don't see any parts of my molds that seem like they're raised, which is good. I think cutting those small little holes in them helped a bit with that. Let's take a look at that one around the sides. Oh yeah, no, I think these are going to be fine. Like, this one might have one dice that's a bit off. I think that's an error with my mold cutting. But otherwise, pretty good. Okay, final mold. I think we actually time managed for once. Like, I think this is the first time where we actually time managed correctly with the stream involved. That's great. More of that. More of that. Alright. There we go. And you don't want to use too much force on these. I say this every time, but you just want to kind of jiggle it in place. It might look like I'm putting force on it, but all I'm doing is distributing the pressure evenly. I'm trying as much as I can not to actually push down on the mold. The pressure pot will work well for that part. Alright, well that was a bit of a quicker stream because everything just went well. I don't have the ability to turn it off right now. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be the end as I put it in the pressure pot. I might come back to say goodbye or make some notes to myself, but otherwise, goodbye. Alright, so just as some quick notes to myself on that one, since I think it'll come out good. If it does come out good, something to remember is that I mixed for 5 minutes, waited for 20 minutes. That includes the mixing time, so don't wait 25 minutes, wait 20 total. I really like that sunset effect that happened halfway through, and I think the blue almost was a shame because of that sunset effect being good. So if we could maybe make a set of dice with just, I don't think we'll find like a third color that we want for the warm. So if we can just get rid of the blue entirely and just have the red, the yellow, and the orange white, I think that would be for the best. If you want like a sunset sunrise style dice, it depends if that looks like that's kind of what happened in the dice we get. What you see here, for instance, isn't what you'll see in the actual dice, so it may be different. And otherwise, I think that worked pretty well. I think the time frame worked. If they don't get big caps, which I don't think they will, that's probably what you need to do. So 5 minutes, 20 minutes, pour within 10 to 15 minutes of that, and then get it in the pot. And I think that's this technique's sweet spot. Alright? Alright.